You are now listening to Sembang Panas Podcast.
Yo, what is up, people? Welcome back to another episode of Sembang Panas. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know, and it's coming already, that this episode is gonna be in English. So, yeah. Luckily for this one,
I can't speak Malay. I'm sorry.
Okay, guys, before we get started, don't forget this podcast is brought to you by Team Ray M.
Yes, whoever do not want to diet and do not want to work out but still want to lose fats. 2 products, 1 practice.
2 product, 1 practice consists of 2 items, which is Unimate as well as BioLife S. For Unimate, you consume it in the morning when you wake up, and BioLife S before your lunch and dinner. If you guys are ready to purchase or have any questions about the 2 product, 1 practice, you guys can click the link on our individual bios
id.isham
and nrhlzec.r.
And we're gonna see you guys in a bit. See ya.
Podcast cakap betul, tak ada sorok-sorok. Ini podcast cakap betul, tak ada sorok-sorok. Ini podcast cakap betul, tak ada sorok-sorok. Ini podcast cakap betul, tak ada sorok-sorok. Siapa-siapa boleh go, semua kita undang. Siapa berani masuk, jangan sebatang berang. Al-Kisah bikin panas macam goreng pisang, itu sudah terang. Panggil semua geng-geng minat turun, jom masuk ke langgang. Jom masuk studio, dah berapa banyak idol, kita kasih sampai viral. Al-Kisah dapat title, ini Sembang Panas. It's not for the weak, ini Sembang Panas. Real love on the mix, boom. Sembang panas, 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 panas. Sembang, sembang panas, 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 panas. Sembang, sembang panas, 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 panas. Sembang, sembang panas, 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 panas.
Yo, what is up, people?
My name
is Aidi Sham.
And I'm Liza Valiza.
Bloody hell, he's so weird.
My name is
He's so weird to do the intro in English. Bloody hell. Okay, guys, so in this episode, we have a very, very special guest. I'm sure you guys have probably seen this guy buying strangers gifts, giving money through social experiments, and as what was being mentioned in our TikTok live, Mr. Beast Singapore, as some people call him. So right now we have Kevin, or also known as Radical Kindness on TikTok.
Welcome.
Thanks. I appreciate you inviting me. It's a long time since I've done a podcast. I really enjoy podcasts, to be honest. I just really enjoy conversations. Like outside, they invited me. They kind of treated me like family as well. It's very warm. We managed to just chat about a couple of stuff.
Yeah, man. If we actually put
and his
all
origin
this
story.
if we actually put all these mics out there, it was already 1 episode of Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people, like I mentioned, have seen your videos. But let's get straight to the point. Who is Kevin actually? Like, what's your backstory?
Wow, straight off bat. I like cockroaches. No, I mean, it's a fun fact about me. I think cockroaches are very misunderstood. I think they are.
No, it's not.
You see, the thing is, no, listen. I've definitely one point of time in my content, right, do a cockroach content where I'll present a cockroach and I'll explain to you all the value of cockroaches in the ecosystem. But okay, my point is that I think we don't grow up hating cockroaches, right? You don't come out of your mother's womb fearing cockroaches. It's a belief system that you develop. Somebody scream and it's like, oh no, cockroaches are shitty, right? So I think I'll tie it back. I'll tie it back to my origin story. I think I've always been someone that looks at stories from a different angle.
Okay.
I like to empathize with things that are otherwise seen as ugly or otherwise seen as ostracized in society, and ask myself, why do people feel that way towards a certain culture, a certain kind of people. Always felt a deeper sense of empathy towards not just animals but also human beings. So one thing I share, I'm going off tangent a bit, but I think I go to schools and I do programs. Later we'll talk about it. So one thing I talk about also is that your tears reveal to you certain inspirations or certain callings or where your heart beats for. When you cry, it means certain things. Right? And I've always throughout my life teared when either it can be a fictional or non-fictional story, right? But when somebody overcomes the odds, when he's ostracized or when people say he can't make it and the fellow overcomes the odds, right? I get super emotional. For example, Spider-Man, there there's one scene where Spider-Man was, I don't know what happened, but one boy actually stood in front of Spider-Man. Remember? And then he blocked. So that broke me because it's standing up against the odds, right? The courage that he had. And I think throughout my life, that's the theme. I actually want to inspire people to overcome the odds. And my life kind of played out in a way that maybe it's God, maybe it's a higher power, forced me through certain struggles so that I can relate better to people who are quote unquote broken.
How old are you, Kevin?
29.
So before this, you were
At 18, I messed up. I was a JC.
Okay.
I went to a decent junior college. I did well in studies and sports. My entire life and self-esteem was built around that. So when self-esteem is built around variables as society conditions us to believe, right? That's a very dangerous place to be in. Because variables can change anytime, right? Variables can vary. So that varied during my A-levels. Anxiety and a mental block. Eventually, I handed up blank papers for my math. So math paper 1, paper 2, I handed up blank papers.
This one is for the final year.
Yeah, no, the actual exam.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I was completely devastated at that time because like everyone was telling me that if I have no A-levels, I got no future. Right? So my entire dreams and goals was built around the exam. I studied 14 hours a day for it. Recess, I went like 10 minutes. The rest of the recess, I was studying. That's my JC. Yeah. So then I was devastated. And I think that because of that, I went to depression for a period of time. I got hospitalized after my A's. And then overcoming that set me up for my first few businesses.
Okay.
I'll pause here. Y'all can ask more questions and then we'll
Alright. So when you mentioned just now earlier that you everything started off at during the JC period of time. Like what was it? Was it like people coming up to you and putting all this expectation on you, or was it like you yourself realizing that or feeling that people are putting all this on you?
I think it's both, right? Singapore's culture, we are stratified from young. We are made to compete from young. There are literally numbers on the board saying that we are scores saying what position you are in class. So it's like there's countdown on the whiteboard. So everything is telling you that, okay, your worth is based on numbers. And I think that's exacerbated by the fact that my parents are both teachers. But they don't put a lot of pressure on me, but they're very traditional in the sense that you want me to get good grades. You want me to get good. So that is an inherent kind of subtle expectation. And then on top of that, I was a very ambitious person. Maybe mainly from culture and also from self. So I DSA'd to a good junior college. Back then it was Raffles Junior College. Now it's called RI. So I was in Victoria School and then I played tennis. Then I DSA'd to Raffles. So when I was in Raffles, everyone around me was very brilliant, very sharp. The essays that they wrote at that time, I can't even write them at my age. The examples they use, the arguments that they have, it's just very, very, very robust. I just couldn't compete. So I felt the need to work harder to compensate.
Okay. Alright, so when you mentioned that's where you first actually was going through depression. I think a lot of people nowadays are actually using the word depression very, very loosely. So I just want to know, like, because I might not have actually faced that in personally. What was it like for yourself?
So mental health is fascinating, right? And I'll tell you why. Because mental health exists on the spectrum, right? There's on one hand, everyone has mental health. But when we are generally referring to mental health issues, we're referring to the other end of the spectrum, right? Suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety. It can be diagnosed. You can trace it back to the DSM diagnostic manual, where we have specific symptoms to diagnose. Okay, but broadly speaking, if you trace back the origins of mental health, it's two factors. One is your physiology and one's your psychology, which means that your chemistry affects your mind, right, as well as your psychology or your belief systems. So at that point when I'm moving towards my A's, I stopped exercising. I just stopped exercising, right? The mistake. So then anxiety grew, the endorphins also decreased. Endorphins are good chemicals that when you run. So everything, my body is really out of whack. And then on top of that, you have the psychology that, hey, I have no grades, I have no future. So then your emotions or your thoughts affects your actions, right? And your beliefs and emotions. So all of that accumulated to the point where I snapped. And then I think when you tip over a tipping point, depression hits, right? It is... Okay, so this is very interesting to discuss, right? Like, is depression a choice? That is interesting. What do you think? Maybe I'll ask you first and I'll kind of come back elaborate.
Okay, I think for me, it's not a choice. Because sometimes it's something that, yes, people out there say like, you can control your emotions, you can control your thinking, but there are times where you don't know, like it just suddenly in your head and then you don't know how to get it out. And then you don't know how to to stop it, and that's where when it gets too bad that you act on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Do you
my
think there's
take.
any form of control? Because based on what you're saying is that there's no way out of depression.
To a certain extent, depending on how bad your thoughts are
Got
already.
it. So Andrew Tate has a controversial opinion. I hate to bring him up, right? But we can talk about him separately. But let's not go too much on him. But basically, he has a controversial opinion that depression isn't real. And he talks about it a lot. He says that if you don't believe in ghosts can't haunt you. It's just a noise. And so his point is that psychology matters, which I accept and I appreciate,
Yeah.
because I can empathize with the fact that he has not gone through maybe a very major depressive episode. So that is his protective mechanism. So for me, I'm both, because I think that when depression hits, right, definitely in that state, it's very hard to have a degree of control.
Yeah.
In my second relapse, it lasted a year, which we can talk about later. That's the one where I almost took my life, right? Where I had plans. But the first one was not as bad. I didn't have plans to take my life. I just had suicidal thoughts.
Okay.
I was
Okay,
18 years old. And it was very short. It was only about 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was hospitalized. I was given antidepressants, antipsychotics. Yeah. And so, like, I was definitely diagnosed and had depression in the sense that I had suicidal thoughts and I couldn't sleep. But I also believe that it's not a label that defines you forever. I think there's a certain degree of control, and that's why I managed to come out of it.
Okay. Just want to check. When you mentioned that you were being diagnosed and all that, where was it? It was at IMH or
I went to IMH.
I think
quick
everyone
story. I went.
goes
Sorry
to
to
IMH.
cut you off.
No
So
worries.
I went to IMH first. So after my A levels, I woke up in cold sweat. I remember that night I woke up in cold sweat. Right, and suicidal thought entered my mind for the first time.
Okay.
I was very scared because number one, I was scared for 2 reasons. Number one is that I was capable of such a thought. Number two, I can't control it. And the second one scared me more. So I woke up my mom and I told her, Mom, I have a suicidal thoughts. I could feel a shiver run down the spine. I was holding her. I could feel literally shiver. She hugged me and said, Kevin, don't say that. I'll never forgive myself if you take your life. You know, so she hugged me. The morning, the thought was still there. I told my parents that we need to go to IMH. So reluctantly, they drove me to IMH. And I remember I went there. I didn't see a specialist. It was an Indian gentleman. His eyes were really big. He was like, why are you depressed? And he was like Indian. You know? So I mean, he was like Indian. Like he's from India, I think.
Liz,
So he
you
had a
did
strong
not
accent.
have to laugh, Liz. I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm just telling. I'm telling this story objectively, right? I'm nothing against the accent or whatever.
It's basically the way he was
Yeah,
telling it to you.
So he was very aggressive in that sense, and he was like, "Your A levels are over. Why are you feeling this way?" He gave me some. I don't know why he gave me some anti-anxiety medication. So it didn't work. It didn't work because I was very, very heavily, my thoughts were very heavy. So I went back. I remember sitting down at Sheng Siong opposite my house, and I was like, this is. And I remember imagining my funeral. So I imagined all my JC friends in the front row. I imagined my funeral. And it was a very, very weird moment because I was like, why am I having these thoughts? And I was like, I'm alive, I'm okay, but why am I having these thoughts that I'm gonna die? So it's crazy. And then he kind of cycled to the point where, and this is probably the most scariest moment in my life, the point where I just had death thoughts constantly. Myself being hanged or myself being chopped up. And it's not thoughts that I want to kill myself, it's thoughts of death.
And all this happening during that conversation with him?
With who?
Oh.
No, this after.
After,
Yeah,
okay.
so when I went home really.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went home a couple hours after that. That carried on. And then to the point where I became empty. So there was one point where the thoughts were so intense, right? That I became hollow. So in the sense that I couldn't feel anything. I felt like a zombie. I felt like an empty vessel without a soul. That was by far the scariest moment I felt in my life. Like, I just felt no longer human. So I told my parents, okay, we need to go to another hospital. So they drove me to Mount E. So Mount E was the hospital that I was born. And I was like, on the way there, I was telling my mom, this was the hospital I was born. This might also be the hospital that I die.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And then the doctor looked at me, right? Like, at that point in time, I was more religious. So I told the doctor, the first thing I told him was that, Doctor, I'm a Christian. I shouldn't be feeling this way, but I'm feeling this way. What should I do? He looked at me. He's like, I need to hospitalize you. He didn't say much because he knew I was jumpy and everything. I think he was a very experienced doctor. So he said he needed to hospitalize me. So he hospitalized me and then he injected me with something, a tranquilizer or something. And then I slept. When I woke up, the thoughts were clear.
Okay.
I think he was saying was something like a PTSD kind of strong reaction. That's the term he used. But again, I don't want to label it too much. Basically, he just gave me something and then I felt better. And I went to prom after that. I remember. I wasn't discharged yet, I have a prom at night. I wore some beachwear and I went to prom because that was what me and my friends were deciding to do. Yeah, but after prom, I came back to hospital and then I was like, wow, tough.
Wait, nobody stopped you
Stop me from
when you
what?
left?
No, the doctor
Ask
gave
for
me.
permission.
I asked him.
You think he ran away?
That's why I was like,
I
what the
didn't run
hell,
away from
man?
the hospital. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I got a question leading
Yeah.
to that. So you said that you woke up in cold sweat and then you
Yeah.
tell your mom. And do you think that your parents believe what you feel helps you a lot? Because sometimes there are parents out there just saying, you're just overthinking. You're just. Do
Yeah,
you
Malay
think-
parents will tell you to go and take the
Drink water.
wudu and then
Yeah.
go pray.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Like, do you think this help? What if, let's say, if you got another response, the negative response is like, you're just thinking too much. Do you think things will turn out different than they are now?
They might, I wouldn't know because that didn't happen that way. But my parents have always raised me out of love rather than fear. I do have the best parents in the world. So, they were confused because that didn't happen to their son. I was very capable growing up.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
mental health issues. I did well. I was a national tennis player as well. So, there wasn't really any indication that I would fall that deep. So they were very surprised and very shocked. But I think they obviously empathized and they walked me through the process. As difficult as it is, my parents' faith are very strong, so that faith kept them going.
I think the more amazing story is you yourself chose to be to ask your parents to bring you to IMH.
Correct.
I was
Because
close to my parents, yeah.
I think there's this stereotype where people are always saying that don't go there.
Yeah.
That is the last place and the last resort ever.
I get
And
it,
also, I think it's being portrayed in every single movie that we see. IMH is only for crazy people.
It's a bad stereotype, unfortunately.
Correct. Yeah, like
Bad
nobody understands that those with suicidal thoughts, those who are depressed, are also being sent there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what made you actually want to go there?
Or
Yeah, did
in my
you have
mind,
second thoughts?
I was desperate, and I think I'm very close to my parents. Correct. So then it's like I became a child again. I'm begging my mom and dad. It's like now I'm a child again. I'm helpless. Please help me. So that's the way of me asking for support. Like I'm begging them to take me somewhere. Yeah. So they did lah.
I see. So, in this whole story where you actually faced through depression and going through it, where was the turning point?
Wow, it's another sad story. So I remember I was day after day, and to anyone struggling, right, things can change, right? Because it's tough and it's tough and it's tough. I just went day after day and day. Now I changed when I started to volunteer. So my parents suggested I go and volunteer.
Okay.
So I went to volunteer at dog shelters and kids with cerebral palsy. Then I remember when I was there, right? I remember very clearly. They did not care whether I get straight A's or straight U's. They did not care if tall, short, fat, triangle. The only thing they cared about was that I was there present, serving them, loving them. That was very healing for me because they honored me as an individual. They gave me back that love, the dogs, the kids. And that was a bit healing for me. I realized, hey, maybe I have value beyond my grades. And then my chemistry started to shift a little bit slowly but surely. And then I started to cycle as well every day to the dog shelters. And decided to get a dog. My dog just passed away actually last week, which was 12 years. But then my dog was a huge part also. That was the turning point. And the last turning point was also like, I was watching some videos. Okay, I also played Fix You very often. I just went to the Coldplay concert, right? I played Fix You very often, and that kind of helped me. But I think one thing was that I started to watch YouTube videos. So the funny thing is, at that point in time, Our Boys to Men was the in thing, right? And back then, those were the main creators. They were very young at the time, 18, 19. Jian Hao was only like under 100k subs. So I was watching them, and I was like, wow. Suddenly a thought came to my mind. I'm going to be a YouTuber. And I'm going to create a channel to tell people to not be defined by their grades. I'm going to create a channel to tell people you can overcome mental health issues. So then once that thought planted in my mind, right, it set me off onto a mania trajectory. So mania, M-A-N-I-A, if you can Google it, right, it's basically a state of extreme high where you lose sense of reality. Bipolar is basically mania and depression, right? So I switched over into mania. It was crazy. It was as if I was on drugs. I've never taken drugs before, but some people say it's the closest you feel to be on drugs because your entire body is invigorated with energy. You cannot sleep for a few days. Ideas just keep coming into my mind. And then I decided that I'm going to create a video burning my A-level cert and doing Man vs. Wild segments. Yeah, so eventually executed that, right? I burned my A-level cert in my room. I started a fire.
Did you put out that fire?
Obviously, I put out the fire. This guy. No, I didn't put out fire. I cooked with it.
No, I mean like you start the fire then I like what happens
No,
next?
it's a simple tray and just like some basic. So then I did that, and then also like I ate my own dog shit. I drank my own pee as well. Yeah, so it's very extreme. I still have it on tape, but obviously the video is taken down. I do screenshots for. If you go on my TikTok, the first pin post, I actually post screenshots of that.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was interesting because like then, you know, it attracted a lot of attention. It went viral. I was from, you know, JC Kid doing this. I appear on the front page of the Zao Bao. And then, yeah, literally they pasted a picture of like me burning my A-level cert on the front page. So then my parents were very distressed, obviously, but they understood that I was going through something. They didn't know exactly what it was. Now, I was very fortunate that I slowly came out of mania because of good mentors that I met. So after 1, 2 months, 3 months, I slowly came out of it, and then I deleted the channel.
Okay.
So it was a very short period of depression and mania, but it taught me a lot of things, and I think it's part of my story. I don't judge myself. I don't regret it because it's a story to tell, and it helps you empathize, truly empathize with people who are in that state.
Okay. All right. Let's move on from your backstory.
Yeah.
I think fast forward to today. Seeing your videos, right, have always left a positive impact on me. Something I wish sometimes that I could do.
Yeah.
And surely it's the same feeling for so many others out there.
Definitely.
Tell us more about this channel of yours, this Radical
Yeah,
Kindness.
see, I've always been inspired by Mr. Beast, right? Let's put it that way. I've always wanted to do this. It's just that I don't have a platform, nor the expertise, nor the funding to do it. And so, like, the plan was to build my funding over the years, right? So I run several businesses in training. I go to schools to deliver programs. I speak and I train for a living. I build up my capital. Short side story, right? I think most of you might have seen the recent stories about me almost taking my life, and I think I faced a relapse in 2022. So the relapse was worse than the first one, right? I lost a huge sum of money, complacency. Success is a horrible teacher. I got complacent in my money. I lost it. Anxiety was up and down, and then I went into a state of depression again. This time I planned it out. So this time was worse than the first. I actually planned it out for 23rd July 2023. I bought my envelopes. I was ready to send it out. I don't elaborate too much on it. I think it's really, really a very, very... It's like pure suffering. Like you imagine you sit there on your bed and for 4 days, all you think of is how you just visualize everything, your whole life. Your whole life just runs through your mind. Have I lived a good life? And then you play Linkin Park on repeat, leave out all the rest, which is a song about basically when my time comes, forget the wrong that I've done. Let me leave behind some reasons to be missed. You know, don't resent me when I'm feeling angry. Keep me in your memory and leave out all the rest. So that was my note. So then I overcame that. Okay, in short, it was a change of supplementation. It was hope, the same reasons as well. My parents overcame that. Fell in love with somebody, got my heart broken, came out of that, and then I decided that I'm going to start Radical Kindness because I didn't want to fall back into that state, and I told myself like I need to occupy my mind with something. So I've actually Radical Kindness, right? I wanted to start it with somebody else, with someone that has expertise in editing, whatever. Because I thought maybe I couldn't do it, too much work. That fella was, you know, busy and he was doing his other stuff. I said, I know what, screw it, I'm going to start. So I just really started out with freelance videographer, not freelancer, volunteer videographer. Then I just edited my own videos on CapCut. And then one video picked up, and then from there I just realized, hey, it's not as difficult as it is.
All right. So your recent, I think one of the reason that we brought you on board is because of that one recent,
Close, sorry. Just press close on them. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Okay. It's because of that one current video, the recent video that you actually posted, the one where you actually, the one that you mentioned just now about the envelopes that you were planning to send out, but you made it into a different thing. You actually were giving out $10,000 worth. So that's $1,000 per envelope.
Yeah.
I got a few questions about that. Number one, let's start with the first one. People will definitely be asking, where did the money come from? Like $10,000 is not a small amount, definitely.
Got it. I get that. I think when you look at impressions, right, like 10,000 is a big sum of money. But I also see it's relative, right? It's relative because no other Singaporean has really done it before. If someone other Singaporean has done it before, then like the people are only just copying the person. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So it really depends because Mr. Beast does 10 times or 100 times of that. Right? So it's not new. Other creators have done it also. Right? But I think because in Singapore's context, it's like, okay, it's new. That's why people see it as a decent amount. But actually 10,000 is not, okay, I don't want to sound very elitist here, but I think objectively it's not a huge sum of money. Look at other creators like Simon Boy, all these people. They get paid a lot for their sponsorship deals. You know, and like my tour recently gave out 150k worth of Rolex, you know. So technically it's not a lot of money. The short answer is that I got it from my businesses. You know, I run a business and I'm fortunate to be paid a decent amount to speak.
Okay, but now one very important question.
I think this one is
it's on everybody's
first question.
mind, or is it on my mind?
I think it's just
Maybe.
your mind.
Okay, in that video, yes, you were doing something amazing.
I think I know what you're gonna ask.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me just jump into it. Why the fuck were you half naked in your video at the ATM machine drawing out $10,000?
I thought it was funny lah. I just thought it was funny, you know. You know how social media works, novelty works, controversy works. So I'm like, okay, first of all, I didn't plan that video. I didn't like I planned. No, I was like, I just want to withdraw my money. It was 5 a.m. in the morning. Not a single soul was alive at that time. I wanted to enjoy the night breeze. I'm lazy to put on a shirt.
Okay.
That's the basic reason. So I just went out.
Oh, you were not like from a walk or from a jog or something?
No, I just went out half naked.
Wait, how far are you from your ATM? Like from your house to
I
the
don't
ATM?
know, man. 500, 800 meters. I stay at Bedok Reservoir, so like that ATM was in Bedok Reservoir MRT.
I
So
think it's
you
quite a
was at the
distance.
MRT station.
Yeah.
And you were drinking bubble tea.
No. There was some orange juice dispenser
orange
next to it.
juice.
So I was like, I know what, maybe just some orange juice for the vibes.
for the vibes.
yeah, sipping orange juice, you know, talking about my life.
Okay,
But it was a nice moment because like, oh shit, I never imagined that my life would play out this way. That I would literally be half naked talking about giving out 10k. And I didn't have much expectations for that video, but somehow that video also picked up as well. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
what was the plan initially
Just
in
withdraw
giving
money
out
lah.
this 10k to people? Like, how
plan.
were you planning to like disseminate the money?
Oh no lah, I just did a giveaway. Say I reached 10k followers. I appreciate your. I created a video where I gave my reasons why I'm giving out 10k. Number one is that I believe creators should give more back to the audience because if not for them, there'll be nothing. Not in the sense that their self-worth is nothing. In the sense that their platform would not be there. So I strongly believe in giving back to people who have followed you and supported you. I think it's a privilege that they are spending their time and attention on you. The second reason was that during October 2022, I remember I was in a car and I was completely helpless. I broke down and I was just, everything I tried didn't work. Medication, supplement, cold therapy, whatever, nothing worked. Okay, and I broke down in the car and I cried out to God. I said, God, can you please help me? I said, I bargained with him. I said, can you please get me out of this? I said, if you help me out of this, I promise I'll be the kindest, most gentlest person that you ever see. And so like, eventually I overcame it. And I'm just keeping my promise.
Okay, I got one question actually. You do contents giving out money, giving back to society, right? But if it was done in the Malay community, there's this thing where we call in Malay riak, which loosely translate to boasting.
Okay.
So I want to ask, like, do you receive any backlash or hate when recording all these good deeds that you do?
Truthfully, most of the comments are positive. Probably 1%, 2% are quote unquote negative, but it's really, really few and far between. And I usually just have some humor if it doesn't affect me because it's quite funny. In fact, I would say that I purposely go and look at the counter arguments, understand what they are. And there's this whole account dedicated to, I think, Scam Don't Know What Daddy or something, where he makes fun of people giving out money. And there are articles written about the problem with this kind of creators. And so I read them and I understand the ethical arguments behind that. And so obviously I have my own, I reconcile with them in my own way. Yeah, I mean, the most obvious one is that they're doing it for the fame, they're doing it for the views. And the answer to that is yes, I'm doing it for the views. I'm aware that I have to be extravagant because that creates views. Right? But I want more views so that I can impact more people's lives. I can bigger influence in people's lives. You know. Now, there's another layer to that. Is that eventually, if I monetize it, correct, and I monetize it and I get back whatever that I give out, will people then hold it against me that say maybe I'm starting to buy a Rolex or I start driving a sports car? Do you think people would hold it against me? That's my question to you. Do you think people look at it and say, hey, actually, wow, he's using the money for himself? Or do you think they'll say that no, he deserves it because he's helping other people and this is just his reward?
I think there's 50-50 to the thoughts.
Yes, yeah. I think they would put it on you. Yeah, definitely.
So it's interesting because people have this need, and I've realized this also with social media. Small majority of people have the need to tell you how you should spend your money. Which is fascinating because when I give out 10k, right, there are people saying I should give this to the poor instead. I shouldn't give this out to random strangers. I'm like, what the hell? You're coming to my life just to tell me how to spend my money. And I'm giving out, and obviously people are fire back at them, right? But I understand where they're coming from in the sense that maybe there are certain projections or certain issues themselves, which is fine. But anyway, the larger point is that I think society will subtly like, oh, he's actually using it for himself, and is I think most people would understand that they deserve to be rewarded. But for me, I'm very aware of public perception. Or at least I like to believe that I'm aware of public perception. So I will not do that. Maybe I don't know, who knows. Maybe if I have a girlfriend in the future, I might buy a sports car to impress. I don't know. But for now, in the near future, I don't see myself living that lifestyle. I see myself living like Mr. Beast, investing everything that I earn back into the channel. Because back to giving back. Because that is what gives me the most fulfillment. Money is cold and lifeless to me in the bank, or in a piece of metal on my wrist. It's much more valuable when I see a person smile on their face, when I see someone cry and thank me. So why the hell would I spend that money on these things when I can just eat my Thai fan every day, enjoy it, and then use the rest of my money on others?
Okay, question. Have your at least by the bare minimum, your parents question your decision?
They're angry.
Then they'll be like, you should give mommy, you know.
They're infuriated. So especially my mom. She's like, when she found out I was giving 10K, she couldn't sleep. Yeah. Because she's like, obviously she sees me work hard for my money. She's like, Kevin, you work so hard. Are you sure this is the right path you want to take? And it's natural, right? Parents are protective in their nature. And they're like, you should take care of yourself first, which is fair. I think financial literacy is important. If I have a family, I shouldn't, and my kids are starving. I'm not going to give up 10K. So it's contextual, right? And I thought my parents, like, this is what I want to do. You're the one that taught me, because my parents are staunch Christians, right? The one that taught me is more blessed to give than to receive. The Bible says your cup overflows, you should give. God blesses you 10 times more than what you give. So, I use their own faith to persuade them lah. And then I told them that, hey, ultimately also I'll get back the money from a practical point of view lah. Sponsors will come in and I'll eventually get it back. And now I'm selling some merch. Sorry for shameless promotion, but I'm working on some shirts at the moment. So I'm putting a lot of thought and effort into the design to ensure everything is okay. There are 2 shirts. One is a love and be loved, and one is dear stranger. So it's like a message to a stranger.
So this one will be like a merch by Radical Kindness.
Yeah.
Oh damn, that's cool.
I'll send you some free.
Hey, when will it be out?
The design should be done by maybe this week, and then 1 week I'll get a sample. Then once I place the order, I'll do a pre-order, and then about 3 weeks time the main one will come. So it's not so soon.
I saw the Dear Stranger one. It's with the heart one, right?
Yeah, but it's too long. Currently it's too bulky and it's too long. I need to shorten it.
Alright. Okay, so enough of that $10,000 video. There is one more video that actually really caught my attention. One of the things is like I mentioned, the things that I see in your video is not just you helping people. There were actually some of them that actually treated you like one of their son.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like the way he mentioned, he was waiting for your visit, waiting you for so long. How did you actually get in touch with him or with others that are just like him?
So this was a video that I did for my past channel, Rebound with Resilience. Actually, I have a YouTube channel, Rebound with Resilience, and that's my training company. But I also do some content. So I was interested to do a video where I featured multi-millionaires and one-room flats. So I went to Nassim Road and knocked doors, right? Nobody let me in, obviously. But eventually I had to get multi-millionaires through my contacts. So I visited $30 million homes and I went to one-room flats. And I contrasted their answers to the same questions. So then it was an interesting video, but I met him through that video. It was around Chinese New Year. Then they gave me an interview without expectation. So then I just gave them flowers and a small token. Then that's how I connected with them. Then because I faced a relapse, I didn't visit them. So the next time I visited them was 1 year later, 1.5 years later. Because when he broke down, told me that his
in the
wife
video,
had cancer. Then I decided to raise funds for them. So that was the story now.
How did it go? You set up a GoFundMe for them, right?
It's a Go Get funding. It's a UK based site, I think, and the fees are very, very high. So the fees are total about 8%. This is really high. I pledged to cover some of the fees, but still pretty high. Now the reason why I chose it is because the alternative, which is a local based charity, a fundraiser, needs a very, very long process. Very long, admin work, and you can't get the money immediately. You have to give it to hospitals. It's it's just too much paperwork for me. It's for me. It makes more sense to just it makes more sense to just cover the fees of the other platform. So I covered $800 of fees, and then we raised about 50,000.
Oh, that's good.
Right. Having seen and help a lot of people with with different kind of problems and all that. just want to ask you, like, what do you feel is the root cause of the problems that people are facing in Singapore? Is it like, do you feel like it's money? Do you feel like it's the expectation on education, or do you feel like Singapore is just too expensive?
Yeah, I think if you look at Maslow's hierarchy, right, you need food, survival, shelter, whatever. So that's the most basic level. I would think that if people don't even have that, then they'll be struggling with that. So there are people in Singapore that struggle with even basic needs. When Uncle Andrew's cash flow is negative, so sometimes he struggles with paying for his rent and his bills and everything. So that's the most basic level. I do think that on a different scale, expectations do come in, because we all need to live a certain lifestyle, show a certain wealth. As a guy, for example, and this is a completely different topic altogether, maybe invite me on a separate podcast, right? You guys have more expectation to provide, to perform. They get less attention in females and children. And you'll be more heavily judged for your lack of competency. And when you lose your ability to provide, you see how cold and bitter the world actually is. And that puts a lot of pressure on them. Right? And to them, I'd rather take my life because I'm useless as a man, as a human being. I have no money to provide. My mental health is in shambles. Everyone judges me. So I can understand why people decide that, okay, you know what, this life is not worth living anymore. That is the expectation side of things. Because technically, if you look at it really technically, you can be contented. You can move to another country and say, you know what, let's just me live on trade, agriculture, and just be a monk. You can, what? But then I think because we're set up in a way that we cannot go to that stage. Yeah. In fact, sorry, sidetrack a bit, but when I was really, really struggling with my depression, one of my avenues was to be a monk. I googled monk in Nepal, and I wanted to close down all my businesses to become a monk. Yeah, I went to other extremes, like screw capitalism. Like, this is causing me to want to take my life. I cannot function anymore. I cannot remember the number of times I held my phone, right? And these were $1,000+ deals, right? A couple thousand. I was like ready to cancel them already because I cannot do this. I cannot do this. My self-esteem was so cripplingly low that I wanted to cancel all my programs. And these were things that I could do, like closing my eyes, I could go into school and close my eyes and deliver a program, but now I was so fearful because of the depression. It was crazy. So coming back to the main point, it's expectation thing. And a lot of people, I receive a lot of DMs every day, 20, 30 DMs. A lot of them are asking me for money. And a huge majority of that is because they lost money through scams, or they're single parents, cannot provide for their family, or they have medical bills to pay. Yeah. So
you do receive a lot.
A lot. Every day. Yeah.
Then do you I do not know how do you normally respond to the DMs, right? But normally if like those people like who ask you for money, do you like respond to them like you will give them, or like
great question. Yeah. So I don't, the short answer is that I don't, because it's not sustainable, right? What I do is that I'm creating a document where I give them a standard reply. I say thank you for reaching out to me, but I cannot help you. This is a document you can refer to for help that you can find. Financial assistance you can find, therapy that's free, whatever. So like I compile everything. I'm still in the process of compiling like a therapy resource.
Because just I think from that just one video of you giving out money, so the thing is everyone feels like, oh, this bugger is rich, he's giving out money freely. Okay, I need to contact him. That kind, and try luck.
I think it's also. You need to edit this on.
Sure.
Can post edit. My thing is just dying. You plug this in.
Continue. I help to plug.
Okay. Wait, he needs to plug that first.
commercial break?
Okay, guys, we're gonna go for a commercial. Relax.
How's the live views now?
Okay, so far so good. A bit quiet though.
Yeah, I mean they're listening. How many exactly? 50?
Right now, 35.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know it's interesting. I don't know why. Like sometimes it's like very like sometimes it goes 100 plus. My max was 200, and then recently when I go live, it's like 50 only.
Yeah. I think recently I don't know why, but recently it's going up and down.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down.
Okay, I got a question relating to the people that DM you for money, and most of actually all the time you have a template answer saying that you can't help them, right? Do you receive any that those will fight back and say like, but you are giving out money?
No, they don't.
It's all kindness.
So they don't. I think because they also know their place to some extent. They are coming to me almost as if it's a beggar. They're desperate. And I feel for them. For them to message a random person, they're really desperate, right? Now, I have loaned money before. Okay, in fact, I'll be honest with you, I've loaned currently, people owe me 20,000+. Okay, yeah. And I don't, okay, and I'll share with you why I decided to do it. ensure there's a certain degree of security in the sense that I meet the person, I know their Instagram, I know their lifestyle, I know their situation, and I feel like that money at that point will help them to get back on their feet. Okay, and they're connected to me in some degree.
Okay.
So there's some safeguard. Now that being said, when I loan out the money, I know that in my heart there's a chance I might not get it back, and I have to accept that.
This is just one person. The 20,000. Oh, a few
Total.
people. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So then my heart just feels like it's hard for me to say no. So but anyway, I need to kind of like manage that a little bit because I can't keep doing it. But yeah, anyway, my point is that I do loan out, but I don't give out money. People also ask me for mental health help. That's where I can maybe help a little bit. The Discord channel where I have resources and a community.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I just want to ask you, like, for the time and all the time that you have been doing this all this while, what do you think is the biggest challenge you face in trying to do what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I will always answer this question from a more philosophical point of view. Is that I think our greatest challenge is within ourselves. Challenges are a mirror. It just tells you what you need to work on, and it tells you your strengths, your weaknesses, your flaws, and it reveals a lot about yourself. So, like, when I go into this new endeavor and I face any form of like challenges, it just teaches me a lot about myself as well. So it's a very rewarding process. I cannot pinpoint exactly what are they. I would say maybe at this point it's balancing between my growth and mental health. That's the biggest one. Like I feel a responsibility now to have a platform to grow it, to help more people.
Correct.
But at the same time, like, oh shit, like I need to be cautious about my mental health. I just overcame. I can't stretch myself too thin.
Correct, because I think just now Liz also mentioned to me, like, for someone who has went through depression or is managing their mental health, and then you doing this kind of contents where people are sharing with you their problems and all that. Like, usually if you're, for example, if you're facing a sad day, they will tell you stop listening to sad music, listen to some happy music, change the mood. But you yourself is balancing your mental health, and then you listen to others.
Yeah, that's a good question. So like, I think that's probably the toughest part. I'll share with you a short story. So when I was struggling, I remember somebody reached out to me, sent me a message. So this was a former mentee of mine that I helped, and he was a very jovial fella, laughing, always expressed gratitude to me, very ambitious, forward-looking. So then he sends a message to me, Kevin, I know that you're struggling with something. I just want you to know that I'll always be a mentee of Kevin Wee. I'm always grateful to you. I'm going to give a talk to a school soon. I would like you to give me some feedback. Now, I did not reply that message because I was very deep in depression. So when I came out of depression, right, I remembered that message. I went back there to try and reply him, but I didn't get any reply. So then I asked my mutual friend, hey, you know what happened to this person? He told me, this person took his life 2 months ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And yeah, it's still, I still get chills talking about it because it was the most one. I mean, I have lost people to suicide before, which is the line of work that I do, but this was very unexpected and very, very stark to me because, like, just recently he was laughing in front of me, a human being, right? And I have been in a stage where I've nearly taken my life, and I know that to execute it, it's a different level. It's a different level. Like, a lot of people stop themselves because, like, your instinct is telling you to stop it. But to execute it, right, to me, it's just like you're really in a very, very bad state. Yeah, so I'll never understand it. And his friends didn't want to talk about it, so I just left it as it is. My point being is that, yes, sometimes the burden is tough to take. And I think it's the same for psychiatrists, psychologists, or people that are working in the field. You just have to learn to find a balance between empathy and detachment. Yeah.
Okay, Kevin, I just want to ask, what is actually your ultimate goal for Radical Kindness itself?
Wow, I wish I could say like as much vision as Mr. Beast, where I can expand, I can start charities, start philanthropic arms, I can sell merch, maybe even start a cafe that is themed around kindness. So there's so many things I can do with a community, right? But at the moment, right, I would say that the goal is just to take it one step at a time, to make one video at a time. I would say so, yeah. And have a broad vision, but take one video at a time and see how it grows from there. And then from there, as the community grows, I will build on it, potentially. On one hand, like, I feel like I might have the capability to hire and expand. But on the other hand, I'm like, do I want to keep this independent, sole proprietor? Just earn maybe a low 5 figures and be comfortable with that. And then like live a decent life with a family and with someone that I love. Because then, I mean, we never talked about dating or relationships, right? But I've never dated for 10 years while I was working, running businesses. So I just felt very secure in my own presence. I never really felt the need to share my life with somebody else, right? So I didn't really have a strong need. But then recently, I'm starting to feel a little bit. Like maybe it'd be nice to have somebody to share my successes and failures with. So that's what I want to explore,
So found someone already,
No lah.
Alamak. Okay guys,
there's-
girls, ladies out there, still open. Application still can be sent. Radical Kindness, the email.
There's someone actually who asked in the comments, can I join you on your Radical Kindness adventures?
You can join my Discord channel. I do post like meetups as well as we might do some volunteer work together. So I'm trying to like organize in the works.
Okay.
But at the moment I'm kind of self-sufficient, so I don't really need like help per se. But when I do need help, I usually put it on the channel or my Instagram. You follow my Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, alright. Okay, I think I got the last question.
It's such a shame because I enjoyed this time so much.
Okay, this last question, I just want to ask, have anyone ever asked you this question?
Yeah.
If you're doing this, one of your goals is to give back,
Yeah.
to do this to give back to the community, why are you charging rates and fees to do your the talks and everything? Like, shouldn't that be a way for you to give back as well to the students?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
have
easy,
anyone asked you that question?
No one's asking me that question. You're the first person. Right, because there's an easy answer to that, right? Singapore, everyone knows it's practical, right? Everybody knows that it's a capitalistic society. I'm a compassionate capitalist. I believe some self-interest is important. I think narcissism, altruism are both sides of the same coin. And I think as long as that balance is 30-70, for me, I try and keep it at 30-70. 30% narcissism, 70% altruism. So as long as I keep that balance, I'm fine. But I need to sustain myself to give out. Right? Both financially as well as in other avenues. Yeah, so definitely and I think also it's not that I'll do pro bono stuff from time to time, but it's also that people want to pay me, Yeah. So that even the companies that reach out now, they see the work that I'm doing and they want to compensate me because like kindness begets kindness. And actually there are people transferring me money randomly.
Oh, there are?
Yeah. There are people reaching me, Kevin, just give me a pay now, I'm going to transfer you $100. So up to now I've received like $500-$600. So actually technically I can move it towards like a pay now kind of like as one of my streams, but not yet. I haven't really like.
Alright.
I'd rather sell merch. Yeah.
Alright. Okay, the last thing that we want to hear from you. What are your advice to others out there that is inspired by whatever that you're doing and wants to do the same too?
It's very simple. So I don't hold like how to say, I don't want to gatekeep this kind of content. I really hope that what I do inspires more creators to do similar things. Right? Of course, it would be best if it comes from genuine intentions and not just to gain following and clout. But that being said, I don't want to be a judge of someone's intentions. It's very hard. Only God can judge. Right? I don't want to be a judge of intentions. I feel like if the purpose is served, then I want to give someone the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? But I do hope that people do it with genuine intention. Actually, there are a lot of creators that reach out to me,
Oh,
they say that, hey, actually, Kevin, I want to do what you do, but then I just didn't have the courage. I just didn't find the space to do it. And then they have a tinge of jealousy in saying that. Because they're creators, right?
Okay.
Then I'm like, oh no, it's like my first.
Oh, if I do it first, then Kevin wouldn't get.
No, because it's like SG Watch Lah was one of them, right? So the guy, he's a faceless guy as well. SG must watch Lah. So he reached out to me and said, Kevin, like, I asked him why he reached out to me. He said, oh no, because I hate you. He didn't say that. He said my first impression when I saw this guy doing it, it's like, shit, I wanted to do it. Then he said, no, I must. He told me, he said, no, I cannot feel that way. I need to collaborate. That's why he reached out to me and said, I'm going to feature you on my platform. Very nice. So he did 3-4 videos on his platform, which gave me also quite a views on Instagram because he has 100+ followers on Instagram and TikTok. So he's a very nice, humble guy. Another one, Turtle Boy as well. Recently I connected with him. He was like he's a Santa Claus outfit. He has his own thing. He actually wanted to do series like that. Yeah. So there are a lot of creators that actually want to do it. And I'm quite surprised that hopefully they're able to do it. Colchester recently started a kindness arm as well. So exactly the same. Ask for $2 and buy people things. Now, to be fair, he did it in September already before I did it. He just did one video, but he didn't follow up on that. Then I came in, I did it. So technically, I did it first. Okay, I must say this also. Even though I tell you that I don't want to gatekeep, I must say this, that I still have an ego. Remember I told you, right? So when I see Colchester doing it, this guy is doing it as well.
Okay.
But no. Then I must tell myself, no, Kevin, you need to think of the bigger society as a broad whole. Like
So basically, yes, you did it first, but maybe I accidentally inspired him back to do it again.
Yeah. And so it's okay. And I feel this also, and I feel like it's just like fashion, right? Beauty, fashion is probably the most common theme of influencers. Right? And now I want to make kindness more common, but I believe everybody will have their own unique personality in a way to give back. People will not have my story, right? And that's unique about me. That's what makes personality shine. So I'm not threatened by it. In fact, like if I one day become irrelevant as well, it's okay, it doesn't matter.
Alright. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Welcome. It's a pleasure.
Alright guys, so we have finally reached the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, Kevin, for sharing with us your inspiring story. The stories that I think a lot of people would be happy to hear. It's like a mystery behind the person that we always like to see on TikTok. Yeah. So if you guys have not followed Radical Kindness yet, do follow on TikTok and IG.
I mean, there's Radical Kindness on IG as well.
Okay.
On my post.
So TikTok and IG. So guys, don't forget this podcast was brought to you by Team Ray.
Whoever doesn't want to diet and don't want to work out, 2 products, 1 practice.
2 product 1 practice consists of 2 items, which is Unimate as well as BioLife S. Unimate you consume it in the morning when you wake up, and BioLife S before your lunch and dinner. If you guys are ready to purchase, or you guys have any other questions about the 2 product 1 practice, you guys can click the link on our individual bios,
id.isham
Saiful
and nrjchalzek.r.
And thank you so much guys for listening. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Sembang Panas.
Podcast cakap betul, tak ada soro-soro. Ini podcast cakap betul, tak ada soro-soro. Ini podcast cakap betul, tak ada soro-soro. Ini podcast cakap betul, tak ada soro-soro. Siapa-siapa boleh go, semua kita undang. Siapa berani masuk, jangan sebat temberang. Al-Kisah bikin panas macam goreng pisang, itu sudah terang. Panggil semua geng-geng minat duduk, jom masuk gelanggang. Jom masuk studio, dan berapa banyak idol. Kita kasih sampai viral, Al-Kisah dapat title. Ini Sembang Panas, it's not for the weak. Ini Sembang Panas, real love on the mix, boom. Sembang panas, 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 panas. Sembang panas, 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 panas. Sembang panas, 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 panas. Sembang panas, 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 panas.